This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter, and welcome to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, August the 9th, is now the head football coach at Jackson State University, a historical black college in college football land. He's prime time and Deion. I guess you can kind of guess who he is. Based on that, he's now 55 years old today. He played for 14 seasons with Atlanta, San Fran, Dallas, Washington, and Baltimore in the NFL. He even played baseball for 9 seasons in the MLB with the Yankees, Braves, Reds, and Giants. He won 2 Super Bowl titles and actually part of a World Series appearance in '92, which made him the only athlete to ever play in a Super Bowl and a World Series. Kind of stupid, don't you think? Anyway, he is Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was born in Fort Myers, Florida, and was actually picked out of high school in the 6th round of the '85 baseball draft by the Kansas City Royals. But he didn't want to do that. He went to Florida State because he liked Florida State. He played football, baseball, and track for Florida State. So in his freshman year, he was part of the Seminoles starting secondary, played outfield for the baseball team that was 5th in the nation, and helped the track and field team win the ACC title. Sanders was a 2-time All-American cornerback, intercepting 14 passes in his FSU career, including 3 in bowl games, and actually returned a pick 100 yards for a touchdown, breaking Fred Belendikov's interception return record. Didn't know Fred Belendikov could return interceptions. He was an outstanding punt returner for Florida State. He made a famous punt return touchdown for Florida State against Clemson in 1988, and he helped Florida State win the 1989 Sugar Bowl. His number 2 at FSU is retired, and he did pretty well for himself. Sanders was known for his base stealing in baseball, and he did quite well. So he was picked in the 30th round by the Yankees in the 1988 baseball draft. He was picked lower, I guess, because of the college football aspirations. So he signed with the Yankees June of 1988. He was invited to spring training in 1989 wearing number 71. He wanted a single-digit number, but the Yankees said no because some of them were retired. They were pretty much retired, and there were a couple of things going on. But anyway, the Yankees gave him number 30, the lowest number available. Well, number 1's retired for Billy Martin. Number 2 wasn't retired yet. 3 was retired for Ruth. 4 was retired for Garrick. 5 for DiMaggio. I don't remember who number 6 was retired. If 6 was retired at all. I don't know who 6 was retired for. Joe Torre? Probably not. But number 7 was Mickey Mantle and the late Yogi Berra. And number 9, well, 9 wasn't retired, nor has it been retired. So anyway, the Yankee, you were number 30 and all that. Deion Sanders had a contract dispute with the Falcons, and he used baseball as leverage. He would go to the majors and make his debut May of 1989. He actually hit a home run and a touchdown in the NFL in the same week, which was amazing, all that. Sanders was a multi-sport athlete, just like Bo Jackson. In the sense, Jackson and Sanders would make 5 times on the diamond, and July 17, 1990 was one of the biggest ever. If memory serves me right, well, Bo Jackson hit 3 home runs that night, but Deion Sanders hit a inside the park home run. If that's the day, it was amazing. Sanders would make the opening day roster in 1990, and doesn't matter. Anyway, Sanders still wasn't sure about baseball and football at the same time. He left the Yankees in 1990 with a batting average of 158. Sanders was given a place on waivers because they wanted to release him. So Atlanta signed him in 91. Well, it would work out because Deion Sanders was with the Atlanta Falcons. Deion Sanders could not play in the postseason for the Braves because of his work with the Falcons, and it was there was a contract thing in his clause and all that. Sanders would rework his NFL deal that he would join the Braves in case of the postseason. In 92, he batted 304 with 26 stolen bases and led the NL with 14 triples, despite the fact he played in only 97 games. In 4 games of the 92 World Series, he batted .533. I think he was the best on the Braves, which is amazing. But Deion Sanders, of all people. Deion Sanders was involved in Game 3 of the 92 World Series when he almost got tagged for a triple play. Devon White made a spectacular catch. Pendleton and Sanders passed each other on the Pendleton passed Sanders on the base path, which you can't do because Sanders was the lead runner. So that's 2. And then Sanders was tagged on the heel but failed miserably. But it didn't matter. Sanders would actually finish second in the NL in stolen bases with 56 in 97, which was amazing. Sanders would be out of baseball for 3 years, come back in 2001, and just was terrible. He signed a minor league contract with the Blue Jays. And he was playing for AAA, but Washington said, no way. There's a loophole in his contract, meaning he has to return to the football team. Deion would say, football is my wife and baseball is my mistress. Anyway, Deion was picked 5th overall in the famous 1989 NFL draft that had 4 fantastic players in the top 5. I mean, the draft was loaded and all that. When you have a draft of Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders in the top 5, it's like magic. The only thing that makes it not one of the greatest draft of all time, and I think people will say it's the greatest draft of all time, to each his own, was that Tony Mandarich was picked 2nd from Michigan State, the offensive tackle, the highest drafted Canadian in history. He made Canada butthurt because Mandarich did not play his best. Anyway, so yeah, he was picked 5th by the Falcons, and he would play until 1993. Deion Sanders got a punt return for a touchdown in his first game with the Falcons. He did okay. He got 24 interceptions with 3 pick sixes. He actually led the NFL in kickoff return yards, yards per return, and return touchdowns. Deion Sanders played for the Falcons one day in October 92 in Miami and then flew quickly to Pittsburgh for the Braves to play the Pirates. Unfortunately, Sanders would arrive too late to play for the Braves that game. So Sanders would get 10 touchdowns in 5 years with the Falcons. And of the top 5 picks, he's the only guy not to spend his entire career with the team that selected him. Well, of the Pro Football Hall of Famers. Tony Mandarich is not a Hall of Famer. Because Troy Aikman played for Dallas exclusively. Barry Sanders played for Detroit exclusively. Derek Thomas played for Kansas City exclusively. Anyway, Deion would go on to sign with San Francisco and returned 6 interceptions. Got 6 interceptions, returned 3 for pick sixes. It was amazing and all that. Sanders would have a pick 6 at the Georgia Dome against his former team, the Falcons, and returned 93 yards. All that. He was named Defensive Player of the Year in 94 and actually ended up winning a championship ring with the Niners when they won Super Bowl 29 against the Chargers. Sanders wanted to be somewhere else. Even though that he won a title with San Fran, he wanted to go somewhere else. So he didn't play the first week, and just before week 2, he signed a Dallas contract for 7 years, $35 million, making him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. Sanders actually said that the Raiders offered him more money, but he wanted to play in Dallas because he wanted more time on the offensive side of the ball, a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls, and because he was good friends with Michael Irvin. Unfortunately, he would have arthroscopic surgery, which would keep him out of the lineup till midway through the 95-96 season. Ironically enough, that game was in Atlanta. Anyway, he got his Super Bowl ring, his third title in 4 years, when Dallas took care of Pittsburgh, 27-17. Sanders would play 4 more seasons with Dallas and be in the Pro Bowl for all of them. So Deion Sanders really liked it. Red Sanford was really pissed off that Deion left. Anyway, Dallas released him in a salary cap move. Washington would then sign him to a 7-year, $56 million contract. And what Dan Snyder did was stupid. Signing players. They jokingly said that Dan Snyder was signing the 1992 All-Pro team in the year 2000. Sanders would play 1 year with Washington and retire. Oakland. Rumors were Oakland were going to take him for the 2003 NFL playoffs, and the Redskins waived Sanders. He could have. Yeah. So anyway, 5 teams actually placed waiver bids for him, and the Chargers had the best priority. Unfortunately, because it was too late in the season to be activated, he couldn't play for the Chargers. But still, Baltimore managed to get Deion Sanders in 2004 when Sanders said he wanted to come out of retirement to be a nickelback. So he chose number 37 because that was his number at the time, his age at the time, which is my age right now. So he knows about senior status and all that. And Deion Sanders knew that 21 was being worn by Chris McAllister, who was a good Ravens cornerback. So he didn't want to hurt McAllister's feelings. So he ended up getting his 9th pick 6 in Week 7 of 2004, tie him for second with Ken Houston and Eunice Williams. The all-time leader, Rod Woodson, with 12. Sanders would play 2 years for the Ravens and retired for good in 2006. So in 188 career games, he got 53 interceptions, 9 pick 6s, which was pretty good, with 3 with the Niners. Patrick San Francisco was really pissed off when he went to Dallas. Who would be? He scored 9 more touchdowns on returns, 6 punt returns and 3 kick return touchdowns. So yeah, he wasn't that bad. So Deion Sanders was an NFL analyst, and then he would be head coach for Prime Prep Academy, which he co-founded. He stayed there till 2020, and then Jackson State wanted him to come up. They're one of the best historically black universities ever made Deion Sanders the head coach. In 2021, in the spring season, which was kind of the 2020 season, if you will, he helped Jackson State win 4 go 4-3, with 1 win by forfeit. However, in the 2021 season, this past season, he helped the Tigers win the Southwest Athletic Conference title with 11 wins, making him the top FCS head coach, or Division 1 AA, as I call it. But yeah, 11 wins. Make a record. They did lose the Celebration Bowl, but who cares? Anyway, rumors were circulating, and then Sanders notably flipped the recruitment of defensive back Travis Hunter, who was going to be to Florida State, and then he flipped it to Jackson State, and making sure Jackson State could compete with the NCAA stuff. Anyway, Deion Sanders was known for his mouth, his two-way playing, wanted to play offense and defense, and he also, did baseball and football and all that. That's pretty good. That he could play baseball and football. Baseball wasn't as big as football, but still, he did pretty good. All that. Sanders was inducted to the College Football and Pro Football Hall of Fame in the same year, which was amazing. What he could do. Now, Deion Sanders did not attend classes during his senior year at Florida State, but still was playing in the Sugar Bowl against Auburn. The Florida State legislation passed the Deion Sanders rule, which meant a football athlete at any state university could not play in a bowl game if he failed to successfully complete the previous semester. Good move. Sanders was known for his do-rag or bandanas, but of course that was banned. The skull caps were banned. All that. Deion Sanders tried to be a rap star. He was in Too Legit to Quit. Deion Sanders was in a few Sega sports games. For many years, Sanders was a pregame commentator for the NFL Today on CBS for a couple years. He wanted to be paid $2.5 million. But of course, he was replaced by Shannon Sharp. Kind of stupid and all that. So, anyway, yeah. Sanders would be doing a lot of things. So, yeah, Sanders would do a few things. He competed in Spike's lip sync battle against Justin Bieber and won. Amazing. So anyway, yeah, Deion Sanders had a lot of things going on in his life, and looked good. He married twice and has 5 children with his 2 ladies. He would be a college football star and all that. Deion's son Shiloh played defensive back for South Carolina before heading to Jackson State University to be with his dad. Shadur was verbally committed to Florida Atlantic, but flipped it to Jackson State to be with his dad. So Shadur is the starting quarterback for the Jackson State team that won the SWAC title. Sanders actually has had 2 toes on his left foot amputated because of blood clots, so that's kind of awkward. To say the least, blood clots can ruin you. You really can. So anyway, that's all I got to say about Deion Sanders. And that is that. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.